The views expressed on this program are those of the producers and individuals appearing on this program and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Sun Prairie Media Center staff, its video service providers, or the staff and elected officials of the City of Sun Prairie.
Whoa! Hey there, and welcome to Real Reviews. My name is Jamison Rabbit, and the man joining me this week loves getting jujubes stuck in his teeth. His name is Mike Roth.
It's a fun feeling, and also keeps your summer teeth going. You know, the reds and the greens.
Yeah?
Some are yellow, some are green.
Well done, sir. We have got a full slate this week of movies to talk about, so I'm going to jump in right away with the first one I have on the marquee this week. It's a film called Land. It is directed and starring Robin Wright. She is a lady named Edie. The film opens with Edie basically ditching everything that she owns, loading up a small U-Haul trailer, and buying a rundown cabin up on a mountain. Just this huge plot of land on a mountain all by herself. Through flashbacks in the movie, we see that she's trying to escape some very traumatic memories, lost family. She's really struggling. We don't know exactly what's going on. We also figure out really quickly that this was a rash decision, that she's trying to escape some pain. But her inexperience and woeful underpreparedness for this venture really costs her early on. She has some supplies, but because of her inexperience, a bear gets into her cabin, destroying everything, eating all her food, and leaving her with no food, no phone, no car, trying to survive in the harsh winter on this mountain with no real survival skills at all. She's not Jeremiah Johnson, I'll say that. She is not skilled. Luckily, she is discovered, as you're seeing right here in this moment, she's discovered by a man and a woman as she's nearly on death's door from starvation. They nurse her back to health, but she wants no contact from the outside world. She refuses to go to the doctor, and she's seemingly punishing herself. You know, it really seems like, she's like, understands that, I was almost dead, but don't take me to the doctor. Don't really help me. So you're trying to figure out why is she punishing herself in this way? The one thing she does allow is Miguel, the man that helped rescue her, played by Damian Bashir. He's a trapper and a hunter, and she allows him to come and visit her and teach her survival skills. And you're not sure of like the length of time that this is all taking place. Just like, I'll be back in the fall, okay. And so he's kind of her only connection to the outside world. He helps her discover this kind of strength within herself, helps her stop punishing herself and kind of enjoy the beauty of where she is. And that's the best part of this film. There's some gorgeous landscapes in this movie.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Yeah,
do you know where this is shot?
I don't. I didn't look it up. But it looked like location shooting. It looked gorgeous.
Yeah.
It really made me want to escape to the mountains. Like there's one scene, a beautiful shot, where she's learned her skills, she's working hard, and she rewards herself one day. She drags her big tub, the bathtub, the metal tub out from the house, sets it out in front of the house, and gets her hot water and takes a bath in front of the night, the twilight is coming on, and just watches this beautiful sunset sitting out there. And I was like, yeah, I could do that every night.
But how's the cell phone reception?
Yeah, terrible. She doesn't even have one. She threw it away.
My gosh.
Threw that thing away. And so it's a quiet film. There's no really like harrowing moments or big twists. Like even the bear coming in she's out in the porta potty in the restroom when the bear just kind of goes in, blah blah, and it's gone.
Well, you mentioned that she is kind of punishing herself. Does it mention what that is in the movie?
In the final moments of the movie, you finally get the realization. The movie is basically just the two leads and the mountain.
Yeah.
And their kind of relationship. And unfortunately, like there is this one revelation and big moment that comes on, like in the end, everything seems to come on in a hurry, and it just didn't feel right to me for this movie.
Okay.
It felt unearned in the way they're doing that. And I really like isolation dramas. Like I love all of those, and I think Robin Wright was actually good in this role of the lady who you're like, oh, she's obviously a city lady going out there, with her Cabela's best, camping kit. There's also, oddly, the Tears for Fears song, Everybody Wants to Rule the World, is heavily used in this movie. Like, they're singing it. You start to be like, I start breaking down the lyrics in my head. Like, this is weird. They continually reference this song.
Yeah.
Very strange. I don't know why, other than maybe,
nothing
ever lasts forever. But I think the movie's strongest in those quiet moments as she is kind of gaining confidence. But, it's fine. Like, I like these isolation movies like All Is Lost, the Robert Redford Sea drama, or Jeremiah Johnson. Like, I like these. I just felt like this one, it was lacking something in that final act that I wanted. It tried to rush something that it didn't need. But
that's too bad.
But all in all, I give Land 3 out of 5 stars. It's enjoyable enough. Robin Wright is good in this role. Damien Bashir is good. So there you go. Land.
There you go.
What do you have for us, sir?
I have the map of tiny perfect things. Give you a little backstory. For some reason, they just caught on how great Groundhog's Day has been for the past 3 years. So since Groundhog's Day, we've had a long span. We had a war movie, science fiction movie, a horror movie, rom-com, and now we have to do the teen movie.
Yes, teen
all
drama,
in Groundhog's Day style, where two teens that keep coming back every day, don't really know why they're reliving the same day, but they feel like they could end it all if they make a map of all the perfect things that happen in this town. Now, to describe what a perfect thing is, it's just something that happens that they really think is cool, like a hawk coming down to a pond and grabbing
beauty.
Just a little moment of beauty. Catherine Newton, she plays Margaret, and Kyle Allen plays Mark. It's pretty much a two-man show. There is other people. There's a best friend that plays video games named Henry, played by Jeremy Harris. But overall, it's just two people doing the teen movie thing.
Reliving that same day.
Yeah, it's hard for them to get together at first for some reason. Then they get together. There's that cliche scene where he makes a really beautiful moment. In this case, it was he hired a bunch of art students to do this huge thing to make it seem like she was in outer space. They did a lot of little things. Maybe if I've never seen a Groundhog's Day scenario, I might have liked this a little better, but I feel like they wanted that teen movie so much that they kind of forgot their own rules, and they did some kind of silly things that kind of made the Groundhog's Day theme seem kind of not as cool.
Yeah, I mean, I think smartly they didn't try to explain how they got there. They're already in the universe.
Yeah.
So it didn't happen. They've been in this for a while, right? Because he's already, doing things that he's seen happen 100 times before, and he's kind of bored in this world, and so is she. And one of the things that I kind of, when I was done watching it, something was bothering me, and I couldn't quite put my finger on it, and then I finally kind of figured it out, is Mark, the day he's reliving is not a great day. And I finally started to figure it out. Like, he wakes up every morning to, Groundhog Day, we got Sonny and Cher. Wake you up every day.
Yep.
He wakes up to his mom honking the horn as she's leaving for work.
Yeah.
He's been reliving the same day. His dad is about to have a serious talk with him. And I don't know how many days he's been doing this, but he has not seen his mom at all.
Yeah.
And it could be years of waking up, your mom's gone, and you don't see her. And your dad is having a rough time.
Yeah.
And you're reliving that day. It's not your best day. You're reliving it over and over again.
And that's one of the things I disliked about this movie is...
See, I like that, though.
It could have been a long period of time, but they never really gave the idea of maybe how long it is. They took cues
None of them do, though. None of those movies do.
Oh,
you don't know how long Groundhog Day's been going on.
Well, no, but like in... Palm Springs.
Oh, Palm Springs.
It got to the point where our main character forgot what life was outside of this day. And they really let you know that this wasn't 100 years. It's been thousands of years of reliving the same day. So naturally, everything becomes kind of, you get good at it, or you get to know things. And this one, I never got that sense where it's been forever.
Yeah, I mean, I assumed it's been a year.
But they've all had the skills of forever.
Well, you live the same day over and over again. Things, especially they're in a small town. He's going to the same places over and over again.
Yeah.
These are all the same stories. You start to realize, like, you're basically invincible. You test your mortality.
Yeah.
You start to realize that being invincible has its drawbacks. This kind of sucks. How do we get out of this? Desperation starts to set in. One of the strong points is I really like is it Catherine Newton as Margaret.
Yeah.
She was also in the last movie I saw her in. She was in a similar type of weird movie. She was in Freaky last year, which was a great body swap horror movie with her and Vince Vaughn swapping. I was like, wow, she's kind of falling into these roles of like, and then I wake up and something crazy happened to me and I'm living a different life. I really liked her in this. I thought she was kind of charming, and she has she's mysterious for a large chunk of the film. Why won't she reciprocate his love? You're the only two people actually living in this world. What's going on?
And I get her bad day. I expected more from it.
Yeah. I did like that it was self-referential to things such as Groundhog Day and Time Bandits. This is in a world where these things exist.
Yeah.
I kind of dug that they went for that. Like, look, we know people are going to call this the Groundhog Day scenario. We're going to too.
I wanted them to do something different with it.
Yeah.
I mean, even though they all have similarities, I really felt like Edge of Tomorrow, Happy Death Day, Palm Springs, they really did something different with the genre.
Yep.
Where this one,
I think most of those
didn't.
are better than this.
Yes.
I would say I did not care for Happy Death Day, but most of those.
You like the sequel, though.
I did like the sequel. What did you end up giving Map of Tiny Perfect
I give it a
Things?
2.5.
Okay, all right. That's right down the middle.
Right down the middle. I feel like if I never saw better ones, I might have liked this better.
I'd say that about a lot of things.
Yeah.
I think I ended up giving it 3 out of 5 stars. I thought it was enjoyable enough. Catherine Newton's really good. She's an actress that I'm going to follow because I think she's kind of interesting. But moving on to what we have next, it is Judas and the Black Messiah, the new film from director Shaka King. This is the story based on the actual events of Fred Hampton, who was the head of the Illinois Black Panther Party. He's played by Daniel Kaluuya in this, and it's really a movie about 3 men and how their lives kind of intertwined with each other. We also have a man named Bill O'Neill, played by LaKeith Stanfield. Bill O'Neill is a small-time car thief who uses a fake FBI badge to pull off his crimes. He gets busted, and Agent Mitchell, played by Jesse Plemons, convinces him to become an informant for the FBI. If he can just infiltrate the Black Panther Party, well, then we might be able to help you out here, buddy.
Does Jesse ever play like a likable character?
No, he's perfect in these roles. Meanwhile, the Black Panther Party, which at this time has Fred Hampton at the head of it, has got a target on it from one Mr. J. Edgar Hoover, who was the long-time head of the FBI with unchecked powers, played by Martin Sheen in this film. I think one of the things that was interesting is how this film really shows the blatant racism within the FBI and how they played games with people's lives, and how this movie started to turn into a little bit of The Departed. There's a rat amongst us. And as Bill O'Neill is getting close, he starts to get unsure about his allegiance. He starts to really fall in with the Black Panther Party.
Yeah.
And he kind of wants to get out from under his promise to the FBI, but of course he can't. He wants to play both sides. That's not going to happen. Meanwhile, J. Edgar Hoover's federal agents they're scared. At the time, they were very scared of black leaders and black political groups. They treat them as criminals and try and find anything to arrest them so that they can say they're criminals.
They even create scenarios.
Well, that's the thing. They create suspicion. That was J. Edgar Hoover's playbook. Was he promoted slander and violence against enemies of his, and he tried to get them to turn on each other. And he had this unchecked power to go after anyone that he wanted to. Anyone, presidents, American citizens. And so he used this and his bigotry as like one of the tenets for the FBI agents. And he saw black leaders as enemies of his bigotry and his ideology. And so we saw, this takes place in a time when Martin Luther King was assassinated and Malcolm X was assassinated and Hoover went after Stokely Carmichael. And so the Black Messiah in the title was a phrase that Hoover came up with himself. He was terrified of a black leader rising up and becoming the Black Messiah, as he dubbed it, who would bond them together. And that was his biggest fear. And so we have to have a Judas for the title. Bill O'Neill.
And it works.
Yeah.
I liked how all these characters, they had many layers to them.
Yes.
They weren't just one. Even Jesse Plemons, he plays the jerk all the time, but there's a little point where he realizes that this is all based in racism.
Yes.
And I like that about his character. I was kind of hoping that it would, change him a little bit, but it really doesn't. But I like how you get depths of all your main characters. Yeah. I really enjoyed this movie immensely. I thought the acting was fantastic.
Daniel Kaluuya gave me chills. Like the moment he came out of jail and he realized, he knows he's putting a target on himself by being a leader and standing up. And he has that "I am a revolutionary" speech to fire everyone up. And he knows this is not going to end well for me.
No.
Because everyone gets assassinated when they step up like I do. And I had chills from his performance in that.
Yeah, me too. I was also curious, did he put on weight for this, or did they give him a suit?
I don't know.
Because he is much bigger than I've seen him last.
Yeah. I also like that your favorite movie from last year, we cross into that. We reference, because Fred Hampton was just kind of referenced in that movie when he was murdered. That's a minor plot point in the trial of Chicago 7. But we talk about them. We talk about the Chicago 8 and Bobby Seale in this movie. This stuff is going on around the country because the Chicago police are basically used as the street muscle in this movie to carry out Hoover's wishes. And so it's set in the same time period and same area as the trial of Chicago 7, which is kind of a nice little tie-in.
I thought that was pretty cool. Once they mentioned his name, I was like, oh my gosh, with the Chicago 8. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
This movie really blew me away. There's only one little complaint. I did get some confusion around the third act. They added new characters in there that I was supposed to know, and that threw me off a little bit. But otherwise, I didn't see anything wrong with this film. It was a learning lesson. It was historical. I tried my best not to fact check this thing. It happened anyways, but the fact checked
checked out?
Not completely, but not enough where I don't like where I thought they did it injustice.
I mean, really, this movie, I think the kind of the twisting of Bill O'Neill's soul, I think is one of the really interesting parts of this movie.
And he played his character extremely well.
Yeah.
I feel bad that this is something he wrestled with for all his life until his life was taken.
Yeah.
It's still on the fence if it was suicide. Everybody says it's suicide, but people close to him said no, it was just an accident. But he had an attempt on his life earlier, so it must have been rough.
I think movies like this, I think we've in the last few months specifically had some really great movies, kind of all focused on, rightly so in the time we're in, on the struggle for civil rights. Yeah. And with that, with Mangrove, with this film, and how the courts have treated civil rights activists over the years, one of the themes of this movie is how split ideologies between different people how they were and how fear and hatred drove people. I mean, that's what drove J. Edgar Hoover, was fear and hatred for anyone that wasn't like him.
Yeah.
And it also showed another look into the Black Panther Party and showed actually what their political agenda was, because they've been characterized as many things over the years. And I think it should be infuriating to people, as much today as it was then, to look at this stuff and realize how we're not that far away from that. And, how far have we come is questionable.
We really didn't get too far.
Yeah.
And
that should be infuriating.
Yeah, it should be.
Because, it shines a light and shines a mirror on where we're at today. And I don't think we're as far as we think we are.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know.
But we're not going to get into that because that's going to be a depressing subject.
I don't want to get into that. But I think the movie is really well done and kind of heartbreaking at the end. But I really enjoyed Judas and the Black Messiah. Sir, I'm curious what you gave this.
I give it a 4.5. It was near perfect movie for me.
Yeah. I enjoyed it quite a bit. I gave it 4 out of 5. I really enjoyed this film. I think Daniel Kaluuya was great. Everyone in it was really good, actually.
Everyone.
So,
yeah, Martin Sheen's makeup threw me off a little bit.
Yeah,
but otherwise,
tough.
Everybody else, I was like, wow.
Especially because Martin Sheen has a very, very noticeable voice, right? You know his voice.
Yeah.
And so it's like coming out of this kind of monstrosity that he was under.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's Martin Sheen somewhere underneath all that stuff. But we both recommend Judas and the Black Messiah, currently playing in theaters and on HBO Max. Definitely check that out. Sir, let's take a look back for our movie Throwback. Of course, we're focusing on music biopics. And this week, what are we talking about?
We're talking about What's Love Got to Do with It. If you don't recognize that title, it is a Tina Turner movie based on pretty much her life getting into stardom.
It's based on her memoir, I, Tina.
It's Angela Bassett plays Tina Turner. Lawrence Fishburne, of course, he has to be Ike Turner.
Yeah.
Can't really have the Tina Turner story without Ike in it.
Unfortunately.
And it is a very a powerful movie. It is hard to watch at times. Most music biopics, kind of fun. There's some conflict, but watching Tina Turner life is difficult. She came from hardship, and she went right into hardship again, even as she's growing into fame. I feel like Angela did a fantastic job portraying this, and it's tough to watch Lawrence Fishburne. It's hard to like him. I like him.
It's funny. I read something with him in an interview shortly after this came out that he said, yeah, I mean, ever since playing Ike, I walk down the street and women just shoot me the dirtiest looks.
Oh, I bet.
They look at me like I'm Ike Turner. Uh-huh. You know, and it's like, I'm not that guy. It's a good movie watching how, Ike was kind of a big time guy.
Yeah.
On his way to being big time, but big time enough when he kind of was able to seduce young Anna Mae into his clutches and sunk his claws into her. And then the jealousy started to rage as she started to become Tina Turner and becomes more successful than Ike.
Oh, yeah.
And he couldn't have that.
Once she shed Ike, her career really did take off.
I mean, even when they were, he named her Tina Turner, but then all of a sudden she became the draw for the Ike and Tina show, and people were there to see Tina, not Ike, and he wasn't having that. And there's some brutal moments in here. Now, there's a lot of controversy over how many of these moments are actually real.
Yeah.
It said it's based on Tina's memoir, but she says it was both worse than it's shown in this movie, and also some of these things never happened. And of course, Ike Turner, which was Graves, saying, I wasn't that guy. It wasn't me, whatever. It doesn't all check out, but I think Angela Bassett and Lawrence Fishburne were both great in this. Both were nominated for Academy Awards, Best Actor, Best Actress this year.
I do have a complaint for IMDb.
Yeah.
When you list the cast,
yeah,
they did it all in who you saw first.
Order of appearance.
So it starts off with a chorus.
Yeah.
Yeah, chorus member 1, 2, 3, 4. It took a while. No, I hate that.
Yeah. Oddly enough, I was interested because I hadn't seen this movie since it came out. 93 was the last time I saw this. And I was like, yeah, I think Angela Bassett might have won an Academy Award for this movie. So I'm watching it. I'm like, I better look it up and see. She did not win. She lost out to Holly Hunter in The Piano that year, which is not memorable in my mind.
I don't remember that one.
Yeah. Lawrence Fishburne lost out to Tom Hanks in Philadelphia. Tom Hanks' first Academy Award is what he lost out to. Quite a year, though, because he was nominated alongside Anthony Hopkins, Daniel Day-Lewis, and Liam Neeson in Schindler's List.
Oh,
it's a tough one to get through.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good year for Oscar nominations, but
maybe if they spread it out a little bit, because I know around that time you had some years where you're like, that won an award?
Yeah. We had a few of those.
Anything could have came out and would have won. It's a...
We might have one of those this year at the Oscars. Who knows?
Probably.
The nominations will be coming out soon, though. I'm excited for that. But anyways, what's love got to do with it? I think it's a good movie. It's tough in moments, but I think it's a really interesting biopic. And we get Tina Turner at the end doing her thing.
Definitely check it out.
I forgot my wig this week, though. Remember I said I was going to wear my Tina?
Yeah, and I said I was going to do the Ike, and I totally was
forgot.
joking. That is a terrible joke. I was not going to look like Ike.
Mini dress too, and I just
You
sorry
would look
guys.
cute. Sorry.
Maybe next time. Let's take a look ahead, sir. What is coming out the week of February 26th? Hey, it's my birthday, February 26th. We have a few movies coming out that weekend. First off, we have The United States versus Billie Holiday. This is directed by Lee Daniels, following Billie Holiday, the famed singer, as she is targeted by the Department of Narcotics, trying to possibly frame her. And as she's finding massive success, she's also dealing with this sting operation the Department of Narcotics was laying on Billie Holiday.
So another music biopic.
Yeah, it is.
Nice.
That it is. Also coming out that day on HBO Max and in theaters near you, Tom and Jerry, starring Chloe Grace Moretz and Michael Pena in a live-action / animated take with our old beloved friends, Tom and Jerry.
Who is clamoring for Tom and Jerry live action?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, so my 15-year-old son is the biggest Tom and Jerry fan I've ever met.
Really?
Obsessed. When we went to Comic-Con a few years back, he got the guy who's been animating Tom and Jerry for like the last 30 years to sign his arm. He bought a print from him. He's obsessed with Tom and Jerry. It's his favorite thing ever. And even he's like, this does not look good. It just doesn't look good. I don't know.
How does someone his age really get into Tom and Jerry?
He's an old soul, man. He's an old
guess.
soul.
You have to search for old soul stuff.
Yeah.
Get on the internet and be
Love
like, I'm an old
Popeye.
soul. What should I be watching?
All those old cartoons. Yeah, Tom and Jerry's good. I love Tom and Jerry. I mean, my favorite episode, Tom playing the bass, singing "Is You Is or Ain't You Ain't My Baby."
We're
not getting that in this.
Could not get into Tom and Jerry.
Yeah.
Sorry. Same thing with Wile E. Coyote and the Roadrunner.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people love that. I do not.
Mike. Well, you're going to be watching it in a couple weeks. So.
All right, sweet.
Report back. And then lastly, in theaters, we have a film called Cherry, which is directed by the Russo brothers, stars Tom Holland as an army medic with PTSD who becomes a serial bank robber after drug addiction puts him in debt. Kind of interesting to see little Peter Parker out there as a...
It doesn't sound very Spider-Man.
Army medic turned bank robber. But yeah, that is Cherry, which will be coming up February 27th. Before we move any further, though, we want to take a moment to thank our sponsor, Marcus Theaters, the Palace here in Sun Prairie. Thank you for sponsoring our program. The Palace has now opened up a little more. They can put a few more butts and seats there. So if you want to see some of these movies that we're talking about.
And you have a butt.
What's that?
And you have a butt.
Yes, and you have a butt. That is required. As long as you're not sitting in J13, you can go and check out any of these films at the Palace, enjoy popcorn, and the Take 5 is open. So there's that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just saying. What else do we have? Next week, sir. Next week we have Nomadland, which I watched this week.
Nice.
Got a little sneak preview of it.
I'll have to catch up.
I can't wait for you to check that out so we can talk about it.
Is it?
It's going to be on HBO Max for you, sir.
Okay, sweet.
Or it's in theaters. We also have a film called I Care a Lot over on Disney Plus. We will have Flora and Ulysses, and we will be continuing on with our music biopics.
I know what that one is.
You do?
Yeah, I do. I'm not going to spoil it.
Don't spoil it? All right. I'm just saying. Next week, be ready. Mike's going to light a fire. But until all that happens, I'm Jamison.
I'm Mike Roth.
Thanks for watching.